Consider the number of distinguishable four-letter arrangements formed from the letters in the word English. It's implied that each of the letters in the word only occurs once and cannot be repeated. So you can't take English and go E, 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 and say, I used a letter from the word English, I just used it a lot. Pretend that each of these is on a little wooden tile or something, and you're only allowed to use it one time. You're supposed to select four of these and put them in a sequence. So, if you could use any of them, you have to make a four-letter word. The first time you go in to do this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters that you can put in that first spot. Now you've used one up, so you only have 6 choices for your second spot, and now you're down to 5 choices, and now you're down to 4 choices. And the fundamental counting principle says if you multiply those, 42 times 20 is going to be 840. That's how many four-letter words you could make with the letters in English. Now, here they take one of our choices away. They say, for the first letter, you must select E. Well, there's 2 ways that you can attack this. The first one is to say, I've got all the letters in English. I have one choice for that first space. I must take E. And then after that, I have 6 letters to play with, so this is going to go 6, 5, 4 as I run out of letters. The other way to do it is to say, well, if you're putting the E down for me already, then really I'm only selecting 3 letters from English. I don't have the E to choose from at all, and so I'm just going to do 6 times 5 times 4. Either one of those is valid. I don't think I even have a favorite. If I did this question on 2 different days, I might do it this way once and this way once. They both work perfectly fine. So pick the one that makes more sense to you. 6 times 5 is 30 times 4 is 120. If the first and last letters must be vowels, remember that we're supposed to do the spaces that have restrictions first. And we did that with English. We automatically did the first space first. Here, we're going to deal with the first and last letters, and then we'll move on to everything else. So in English, E is a vowel, I is a vowel, and that's it. So for this space, we only have 2 choices. Do I want the E or do I want the I? How many choices do you have for this space if it has to be a vowel? You only have 1. Because there were 2 vowels, you used one of them back here, so now there's only 1 left. Either you put the E here and now you must place the I, or you put the I here and now you must place the E. Now with that out of the way, we can go to these middle spaces that can be anything, and for those, we've already used the E and the I, so now we have 5 letters to play with, and then now that we've used 1, we're down to 4. So there are 40 letters that meet that requirement. And if the word must contain G, okay. If it has to contain G, the trouble is there's a bunch of different places where we could put the G. I'll show you a trick for this one that this might be the first time this has come up, but I think it'll make sense to you. We know that there are a grand total of 840 words that we can make. 840 of any kind. It turns out it's much easier to work out how many words don't have G. If they're saying how many words are there that do contain G, the flip side of that is how many words are there without the letter G. So imagine that you're making a word here, and I'm telling you you can use English. You are forbidden to use the G. How many words can you make? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, so it should be 6, 5, 4, 3. 6 times 5 is 30, 4 times 3 is 12, 30 times 12 is 360. So what we have now is there are 840 words grand total. 360 of them don't have G. Remember set theory? if our universal set is all the words you can make with English, and we just found that there are 360 words out here that don't contain G, 840 minus 360 tells us that there are 480 words which do contain G. So if we had to make a word with G in it, here's how many choices we'd have. In a lot of these questions, it can be easier to find the opposite of what they're asking, in this case, words without a G in them, rather than try to deal with, okay, I've got the G, what other letters did I use and where did I place them? So, 840 total words, 360 with no G. If you take away all the words that don't have a G, what you're left with is all the words which do. They do contain the G.